Tag, grüezi miteinander, hello. My name is Eve, and on my channel I discuss how to teach your child German when you are not a native German speaker. Today's topic is why I'm doing a second German marathon with Lingoda. So I took 3 months off after I did my first Lingoda marathon. I needed a little bit of a mental break. So I strictly did italki. And while I was doing italki, I didn't feel like I was getting enough German. I also missed the structure of Lingoda. And after the 3 months, I decided to go back because I was only a B1 level when I stopped Lingoda, and I want to be a B2 level. I may even do a third marathon in the future. I really enjoy learning German, and the more practice I get, the better I'll get. And, you know, in the future, I do plan on learning Swiss German, so I need to make sure that my German is pretty much perfect. Another reason I decided to go back to Lingoda is because they honored what they promised. So when I bought the Lingoda Marathon, if you attended a certain percentage of classes, you got some money back. And they did give me the money back without any drama. It just was in my account after a few months, and there was no problem. So customer service has been very good with Lingoda. So my marathon is already going better this time around. For one thing, I looked around for discounts for this marathon this time. The last time I just did the marathon that was offered on their website, but this time I looked all over the blogs, I looked over all the thrift coupons, I looked on YouTube, I looked everywhere and got a huge discount. I'm paying less for this marathon, even though I got money back the first marathon. I'm paying way less, so I'm super happy. I shopped around and looked, and it only took me 10 minutes to find a really big coupon. So if I can suggest anything to you, look on YouTubers, influencers, blogs, coupon websites, and look for the biggest Lingoda marathon coupon that you can find. It will be worth it, trust me. I decided to do private classes again with Lingoda because I get distracted very easily and I have a very short attention span. So there are times when I'll kind of zone out, and then the teacher will say, Eve, do you understand? Are you with me? And just by them saying that, I zone back in again and I focus. I also don't feel comfortable learning with other people. If I get something wrong, then I'll probably be feel a little embarrassed, and sometimes I can be kind of shy. So I just want to make sure that I'm comfortable, that I'm learning German as quickly as possible. And the last time I did private classes, I progressed so quickly because I was one-on-one with the teachers. Obviously, when choosing between group and private classes, you have to decide which learning style do you thrive in. Do you thrive with different people, like in a group setting, or do you thrive on one-on-one setting? If you get distracted easily, or you need a 5-minute break in the middle of your hour class, I would recommend private classes. Don't be afraid during private classes to advocate for yourself. If after 30 minutes you need to take a 5-minute break, ask for it. I'm sure your teachers will be more than happy to take that 5-minute break, because a lot of teachers teach back to back all day. You know, you have to do what's best for you. You have to do what's best for your budget. So for the first class with my second Lingoda marathon, I took my own advice and I booked a custom class to discuss what classes I should be taking. So I am not taking German to pass a test, or I don't need German for business German. I'm strictly learning German, so eventually one day I can learn Swiss German. I also like to read in German, so I need classes that will help me be a better reader in German, helps me build my vocabulary. But, you know, there are some classes in my last marathon I took, and I literally clicked every single class. So during this one class, it was about dating, and I thought it was a class where you're discussing, going out, or your friends are having a conversation and saying, oh, like he's dating her, they're engaged, just like relationships. But as the class progressed, they were talking about online dating, about making a dating profile. And halfway through this class, I like exploded. I was just like, I don't feel comfortable. I'm a happily married woman. I don't want to make a dating profile. Like, I don't need to do this. Like, I did not realize this class was about that. And my teacher was so gracious. She was like, okay, like, thanks for telling me, I don't want you to feel uncomfortable. Is there anything else you want to review? And I was like, yeah, I'm having problems with the conjunctive zwei. Can you help me with that? And then she taught me that for the rest of the class. So there's definitely classes you don't need to be taking. If you're a happily married person, you do not need to be taking classes on online dating, for instance. So if I can offer you any advice, is to read the description carefully. And if you get uncomfortable with certain topics, just ask, hey, can we skip this marathon? I will also take the time to review the teachers more thoughtfully. So the last time when I first started Lingoda, I gave some teachers really good ratings, even though they were incredibly condescending or flat out rude. For some reason, I was like, well, I don't want to rate them bad. I don't want them to see that I rated them bad. But guess what? If you rate them bad, they have no access to your classes. So who cares at the end of the day? If someone is not teaching you the way you learn, or being condescending or making you feel bad about yourself, like, why take the class? Why take another class with them? Like, why put yourself through that? So by the end of the marathon, I was getting very confident. Like, I was definitely rating the teachers the way I should rate. So one problem I have with Lingoda is that if your teacher takes their sweet time releasing the student report at the end of class, that means you can't rate them. If you can't rate them, your teacher has access to all your classes. So if you want to rate them a 1 so they no longer have access to your classes and they don't release the student report, they can sign up for all your classes. And you can reach out to Lingoda and say, hey, they haven't released the report. They have access to all my classes. Can you block them from my classes? Which they will do. But if they sign up within a week of your class, you cannot get out of the class without losing your credit. Like, if you want to cancel the class, you lose your credit. So then you'll have to deal with that teacher again. And then they become blocked from your classes. And any class that they booked, you then have to go cancel the class and rebook the class. So I really wish that Lingoda would only allow the teachers to access your classes after they release the report and after you rate them. Because not all teachers will be best for your learning style. It's nothing personal. Another thing I don't like about Lingoda, sometimes the class slides are really short, and then other times you will get so much information all at once. You'll have a ton of slides and the teachers cannot get through all the slides. So sometimes you're like, why don't they combine 2 presentations in one, or shorten another one and make them into 2 classes? So the blue bubbles in Lingoda where they go over the grammar, I really wish that was in English. Because reading about grammar, German grammar, is really difficult, even in English. So I wish that was in English. There were times when I was like, can you just translate this in English? And sometimes the teachers, even though they were very strict most of the time, they would explain it in English. And they would say, I know this is really difficult to understand. I'm just going to explain it to you in English, this one blue grammar portion, and then we'll continue in German. So the last time I did a Lingoda class and I struggled, I automatically booked a custom class. And this time around, I'm not going to do that. Because sometimes the teachers would just redo the slideshow and that would not help me at all. Or they would have a whiteboard and explain it to me in a way I understand. I'm just not going to waste my money on it this time. I'm gonna go straight to my 2 teachers on italki who do a wonderful job explaining grammar. I've had these teachers for a while now, and they know the way I learn, and they're fantastic. So I'm not going to waste my money booking custom classes with Lingoda. Another tip I have for you is to make sure you take your classes in order. For some reason, my first marathon, I was all over the place. I took classes from chapter 1 and then chapter 4. I don't know why I did that, honestly, but every class builds on the other class. So you'll need vocabulary from class 1 for class 2. They do a lot of review. Since I only started taking grammar classes near the end of my marathon, I always reviewed the classes I missed before I did those classes so I could pick up the vocabulary. So if you're not going to take all the classes, I do recommend you going over the slideshow before you take the other classes. In the last marathon, I made the mistake of taking too many classes back to back to back. Sometimes I was so overwhelmed with information that I had no time to digest it. And then the next class would be building on what I learned the first class, and then I felt even more overwhelmed. So this time I'm going to make sure I give myself a few days off a week, just so I can review and digest all the information that I'm learning. So my main goal is to learn colloquial German. So I take italki classes at least once or twice a week along with my Lingoda classes. So I can have a free-flowing, casual conversation. I can apply what I learned from my Lingoda classes into my casual speech, and I can also learn what words I don't need in colloquial German. Sometimes I will have a class and I will say things a certain way, and my italki teacher will say, yes, that is proper German. But if you're having a casual conversation with your friend, you don't need this word or that word, or you don't necessarily need this ending to that verb. It's a little different. So that's all I have today. I hope you found my talk useful. If you have any tips, advice, or questions, leave it in the comments below, and maybe everyone that has taken Lingoda marathons can write their comments and I will write if I can answer it. If not, you can always go on the Lingoda website and contact them. So I hope you have a nice day. Dankeschön. Tschüss.